Daunting McKinnon. Thanks so much for joining me. I've got to tell you about how we got to this point here. We've got the armrest on. We've got a little bit of French polish on here. I have to make some more. We're going to do that today, right after we spin the intro. And I'll tell you all about that in just a second. All right, it's time to explain what's gone on here. While you were away, I put all the binding on the guitar, both the top and the back, and I only heard from one person, actually two I think, that talked about whether or not I should put the shell around the back and the purflings, and the consensus was no. So, following your advice, I went with it, just putting the binding on there, and actually, I like it quite a bit. This is a thinner binding that normally I would use. I would normally have it deeper, but this is fairly thin. I have placed the shell all around in here, and we have cut the armrest and put the veneer. Now, part of the problem I have with this is that this is a maple guitar, and this is a striped ebony. Ebony is a dirty wood. It's black in essence, and it gives off a very fine powder. So what happened is, the ebony, as I would sand it and get it down to speed, would come off on this, and it would get the maple all dirty, and it just looked terrible. So I had no choice but to take some of my French polish, and I ran it around on the binding here in order to seal it. I then cleaned up the back here, cleaned up the sides, cleaned up the top, and then I put a wash coat on the guitar. But I'm going to tell you all about that in another video and show you the actual process, because what happened here was I worked away and I didn't record all of what I did on the guitar, but I have 97 minutes of recording of what I did to get to this stage here. And so how do I take 97 minutes and condense it down to 7 or 8 minutes? So I've got a little bit of work cut out for me. So we're going to get to that. But before we do, what we need to do is get some more shellac on the go, because it's going to take a day or two in order to make it. Now, for the shellac, what I'm using here is a very light blonde, and I have a scale here which will turn on. We'll zero that out. And what I'm going to do is make a 1 pound cut of shellac. I will then filter that shellac once I've done it several times. So what we're going to do here is get there we go. There is 1 ounce of shellac. And I'm going to put that into this lunch bag, if I can get it open. There we go. Now, in order to facilitate this in its dissolving, we're going to dissolve this in alcohol, and in order to get there, I really need to have this kind of crunched up, because right now it's a flake. So I'm taking the alcohol and I'm simply rolling it. This is just like making a pie, only the pie is shellac flakes. So get the scale out of the way there, and we'll do some of this over here on the bench, because as you can hear, it will grind up very nicely. And the finer I make this, the faster it will dissolve. And once it's dissolved, and we put it in this alcohol, we're going to use this jar here. What I will do is I'll filter it 3 or 4 times. I have filtered it using charcoal in the past, but I don't think I'm going to do that this time. I'll probably filter it 3 or 4 times. Now, I'm using here the bottle, obviously, of the alcohol. This is Everclear alcohol, and it is a grain alcohol, a corn alcohol, and it's available in a few of the provinces here in Canada, and it is available widely in the United States. So, here we go. What I'm going to do is just pour that back into here. I want that. Okay, there is our shellac. Now, I want 8 ounces, and then I always give it another little slug of this. And that's going to be right to the top. Okay, we've got 8 ounces there. And there we go. Now I'm going to put a lid on this because I don't want the alcohol to evaporate. And I'm just going to continually stirring, just like that. And that will eventually dissolve into the alcohol, and then we'll filter it, and that will come out looking like this, which is what we used on the previous guitar. And I'd like to keep a fresh batch on hand for every guitar. This now has become my wash coat, just as a protective seal on this. This still needs to be sanded, and we haven't even started the neck, but while this is getting ready, and it will, as I said, it will take a little while. It'll probably dissolve tomorrow or tomorrow afternoon. It won't take too long until we get this into a position where we can use it. So it's as simple as that. We just leave that there, and now what I'm going to do is work on putting this together, because this is going to become our neck once I put the scarf joint in here and cut all the slots and everything else. So we're going to get on to the neck next. We're going to get on to the neck next. That's pretty, go ahead, say that fast 3 times and see what happens. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thank you for joining me. And I will update you on this, and I will update you on this, and I will update you on this in our next video. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great weekend. It's beautiful weather here right now, so get out there and enjoy it while you can. And by the way, thank you to those of you who have left me reviews of my book. That book has been very well received. If you haven't got your copy, you can get a copy on Amazon. And it's just simply, well, that's the way I see it. That's the title of the book, and you can order that. There's a link down below. So thank you again. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button if you like this. And don't forget, whatever you do this weekend, this is most important. Have a real nice cup of tea. See ya. Bye for now.